of Alumni Relations here at MassArt, and I am an alum of the college, class of 2012, with a Master of Science in Art Education. And I've worked here at the college for 27 years. And as the Alumni Relations Director, I work in institutional advancement. And Alumni Relations is under the umbrella of institutional advancement. So institutional advancement department, what we basically do is we're dedicated to facilitating connections between a broad range of supporters and the artists, designers, educators, makers, and entrepreneurs at MassArt. So basically the MassArt community. And we inspire generosity by making visible the incredible talent, artwork, and stories that thrive here at MassArt. And what we do is we identify and cultivate, solicitate, and steward individual and institutional donors. And what we try to do with them is to align their support with the needs here at MassArt, either student scholarships or other programs here at the college. So in short, we focus on fundraising activities and alumni relations.
Hey, so my name is Kylie Enos. I'm the fundraising events manager in institutional advancement. My pronouns are she, her. I'm also an alum of the college. I graduated in 2022 in photography. And then as well from that, I used to work as a student. I know I was talking to some of you before, in the institutional advancement office. So I can kind of speak on that experience a little bit. I definitely liked it enough to come back, and now I work within that office. I mainly work on collaborative events with my team with two other people for fundraising events. And main thing that I focus on, and I'll talk about later in the slideshow, is the MassArt auction. If you have been involved in the auction, seen it around campus, or maybe don't know a lot too much about it, I run the auction email account, and I run, if anyone has a question and you call, you're probably going to get me as the answer. And the job position that I'll explain at the end, I pretty much oversee the students for that. So I'm a good person to ask any questions. And if you have any questions that will come after the presentation, if you don't even want to ask them now, you can email the auction account and I'll always answer there too. On that topic, I will introduce our first position, which is Advancement Ambassador. And so this is kind of a modified version of a phone-a-thon caller, which is a position that I used to do. So I definitely can, like I said, speak to some of the things here. It's a little bit different now and has changed to be a bit of a different role. But darling, can we go to the next slide? Okay. So now that you know a little bit about our office, the role will include acting as somewhat of a bridge between our department and our donors. So you'll be using phone calls, video recordings, and emails to connect in kind of a more personal way with the members of our community and ambassadors. And you play an integral role in spreading MassArt's mission and educating folks on the importance of supporting MassArt students, especially where we have a public art education. That's something we really want to push, like the importance on, and like make them see that, I'm sure as artists, but that an art career does make a difference in the world, and that's something that we really want to spread the message for, and how important it is to actually support the students of our school. And in this role, you're really the student facing connection to the public. And so qualifications for this role is that you must be an undergrad, have strong oral, written, and digital communication, feel comfortable speaking on the phone and filming yourself, and being upbeat and enthusiastic. If you love people, you're gonna love this role. And having a deep love, respect, and appreciation for MassArt, and an ability to work independently and self-manage to complete tasks. I can kind of explain a little bit of that too on this next slide. So getting an idea of the pay and the schedule, it is primarily remote and working independently, so having the discipline to do that. And it does require occasional in-person attendance for events and meetings, as well as Zoom trainings and check-ins. Keeping in mind the nature of that, internet access, a phone, a laptop, camera on either of those devices, and kind of a private workspace or area, or if you're like on campus within a dorm room, having an area that's well lit so that you can do those things as well. And we're gonna be hiring 2 students for this actively, and you can use this QR code that's on here too to probably get a little bit more information. And as always, I'm available if you do have questions about that. It'll be 6 to 12 hours a week with $15 an hour. And just speaking on some of my experience, when I was doing phone-a-thon calling, I ended up starting doing the calls, and then worked my way up to being a supervisor, which was really awesome. And I think having like a personal connection to MassArt's mission and kind of connecting to, for me, I like had a single parent and actually benefited from the work we were doing here, which was a really awesome thing to then be in that role as a student and kind of give that perspective to others. And I wish I had been a student at the time that the role was more like this, because it's almost like you're a MassArt influencer, which is really cool. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to like network in different ways and, grow different aspects and skills of your own through this role. So I think that explains overall. And then we left some time for questions at the end. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Darlene for the next role. And I'll be back to talk about some auction stuff at the end.
Great. Thanks, Kylie. The next position that we have available is the annual giving videographer. And in this position, you would be working with our annual giving team, which is Julia Crane Dempsey and Dana Al-Samsam. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the annual Giving Day or the MassArt Day. You may have seen some of the videos that have gone out to the MassArt community. So basically, you would be collaborating with that team as a videographer and a video editor. So you would be helping to develop the vision for the videos, filming them and editing them. And they are mainly used for fundraising campaigns, and they appear both on the giving page of massarts.edu, as well as they go out in email communications and on social media, the college's social media. So it's an opportunity to use your artistic vision and your expertise in film. And they are mostly engaging interviews with students or alumni, talking about their experience as students and why the importance of, having received a scholarship, like someone with Kylie's story who has a single parent, having an opportunity to get financial aid while you're a student is really important. So we encourage our alumni and our friends of the college to give back financially to help support programs and scholarships. So you'd be responsible for editing the footage, and they're usually 1 to 2 minute videos, and they show up on YouTube or Instagram Reels. And the annual giving team is really very forward thinking, and they love and highly creative. And so they love collaborating and brainstorming ideas for these videos that they produce. So the qualifications for the position are that you need to be enrolled as a MassArt undergraduate student. You need strong experience with videography and video editing and be able to show them a relevant portfolio, and have the ability to rent or provide all necessary equipment, including cameras, tripods, microphones, memory cards, etc. And as students, I'm sure you probably would have access to the equipment that's in the film cage. So the hours for this is a project-based position, and the hours are heavier certain times of the year. September, October, and March are kind of the heavier months. The pay is stipend-based, and so you would get $100 for each video that you completed. And they said, for example, their previous videographer made about $400 per semester. So I assume that person did maybe four videos per semester. And they are really short videos, so they probably don't take that much time to edit. They're going to be, Dana and Julia are looking for 1 student, and it's going to be a year-long position. And if it's something that you're interested in, the QR code is there, but it is also hosted on Handshake. And then the next position is in alumni relations. And alumni relations, as I said, is under the umbrella of the Institutional Advancement Office. We engage MassArt alumni in the MassArt community And what we do is we celebrate and support our alumni, and we encourage them to stay connected. We host things like alumni meetups and professional development programs, and biennial juried alumni exhibition, which will be coming up this fall. We do regional events, and we also do events here on campus, and we invite alums to come back for, say, exhibitions at MAM or visiting artist talks. And so in our work, part of what makes our work really interesting is that we collaborate with our Alumni Leadership Council, and they are the board that oversees the MassArt Alumni Association. So they are really a conduit between our alumni and the college. And we also work with the president's office, the MassArt Art Museum, student development, the academic departments, and admissions, all on events, programs, and initiatives. And pictured here is a photo from our New York alumni meetup that we did last spring that was hosted at the Drawing Center in New York. So the person who was our alumni relations assistant actually helped with all the designing all the promotional materials for this event. And so the alumni relations assistant position, basically you would be working on design projects for us. You'd be helping with logistics for events, helping with social media and general office duties. A project that we're working on right now is an alumni stories project that we're collaborating on with the president's office. Our person who's in charge of corporate relations and government relations, and our marketing communications folks. There is a real push right now to grow the number of alumni stories that we're telling across various media, through websites, on social media, through our website, through social media, through our alumni newsletter, through being able, when the president and our corporate relations person, Brendan, go to the State House, that they can tell stories about what our alumni are doing. And it also helps to raise the visibility of our alums when they get involved in these projects. So you'd be helping with event logistics, day of setup for events, and things like data entry, organizing, filing, copying, and other special projects. So the qualifications for this position is that you're a current MassArt student, that you have the ability to work independently as well as collaboratively with our staff. Our team is a team of two. It's myself and my colleague Olga Bachuk, who's the assistant director of alumni relations, someone who is dependable and has a strong work ethic, that you commit to working, we understand when people are sick, but that, when you have a shift, that you show up and you do the work, and that you have attention to detail. Part of the thing is we do a lot of communications work, and we want to make sure that there aren't any typos and that everything looks good and is visually appealing, and that you have good time management and organizational skills. And we're also looking for someone who has experience with the Adobe Creative Suite, as well as the ability to work with like Google Docs and Google Sheets and the Google Workspace and Microsoft Office. There probably wouldn't be that much database work, but we do have an alumni database here that's alumni data that we keep in what's called Salesforce, which is our database for institutional advancement. And we really are looking for someone who has some design experience to be able to help us with the design projects. So the hours for this position would be approximately 7 to 10 hours a week. Generally, it would be in person with some remote work. And we would be willing to work around your schedule, obviously your school schedule, and would figure out the balance of in-person and remote work. The salary is $15 to $17 an hour, dependent upon your previous work experience and the level of your design skills. And this is a college trust fund position, so it's not paid through work study. We have separate money in our budget to pay, and it comes out of what's called the college trust fund. And much like the previous position, it'd be good to have your own cell phone with a working camera, internet access, and to be able to bring your own laptop computer to the office to work, because we don't have a laptop for for our students to use. And we're basically hiring one MassArt student, and it's a year-long position. It will cover both the fall and spring academic semesters. And we're hoping to post it in late August for this position. And Kylie, back to you.
Okay, I am gonna wrap us up. I'm gonna try to make this brief enough so that we have a little bit of time if anyone has questions too. But I just wanted to explain a little context for what the MassArt auction is before I go into the attendant position. So the MassArt auction is not only the largest annual fundraiser, but New England's largest auction of contemporary art as well. It's actually having its 36th birthday this year, and it's raised over $1 million since 2015. And that is important because of those proceeds. It all goes to student scholarships and academic programs. So there is a live and a silent option. And both of those can be bid online, but the live auction itself happens on the actual night of the auction, which this year is in March, so it's a little bit earlier. To the right is actually a picture from this past year's auction. And the little orange t-shirts will be the artwork attendance. And everyone is required to work on the night of the actual auction outside of the other shifts for that. It's a really important event, and it welcomes future leaders, supporters, and overall the art community, especially within Boston. It's a really great opportunity for you if you're working too, to kind of meet some of those people as well and speak with them. Overall, you're acting as like the face of the school as well, similar to the ambassador. No matter what role you are, if you're forward facing from the institutional advancement office, you kind of play that role. And from there, darling, can we go to the next slide? Okay. So we are hiring for this role, and it's extremely important to the auction itself because, like I said, you are like an ambassador, not to repeat that term again, but a lot of our roles are from within this office, and everyone who comes to MassArt for the auction doesn't only want to see the artwork, but they also want to be lucky enough to interact with all of the amazing artists that actually go to MassArt and attend the auction itself. So for this reason, while our attendants are responsible for the safety of the artwork, we also want them to kind of create a warm and welcoming, informative environment when people come to look at the art. For example, we have like a public preview period, which is 2 weeks prior to the auction. And that's some people's only chance to really see the artwork and interact with everyone. And some people prefer to do that rather than come on auction night. It's kind of a more like intimate setting to look at the art and have some more conversations about the art itself. And we expect that you be punctual and professional, be able to stand and remain alert while visitors are looking at the art, assist in answering any questions that they may have about the artwork, become knowledgeable about the artist and exhibition on view, and kind of provide that friendly and welcoming environment. And then more logistically, and some more context for the auction is that the online bidding, since it's a hybrid event, requires like an app called BidSquare. And if you've been on campus or have seen it before, which all of our artwork is installed on campus, there are like little QR codes that you could scan. So kind of obviously you'll be trained in all of this if you were to be in the position, but you're kind of like the all-knowing a little bit during the public preview period, because some people will have questions about how to do some of those things. And overall, like we have a catalog usually, or an online catalog as well, which is BidSquare, and kind of familiarizing yourself with the artist and the artwork and being able to have little conversations about that. I think it's a really cool experience to be a part of this event as well, because outside of that, it is a ticketed event. So as a student, it's a really great way to be involved in something that you wouldn't normally be unless you were to submit to the auction. I also, off topic, highly encourage everyone to submit to the auction. Because I will always plug that when I can. Okay, I'll go to the next slide, darling.
Sure.
All right, so auction artwork attendants are paid $15 an hour. And similar to Darlene had said, it's the trust fund that is for this position as well. Basically, you'll be artwork sitting and assisting visitors, like I said, with the online bidding. And then something unique about this position that I will note is pretty important is that it is only a 2-week position that lasts only in this specific period of time. So if in the spring you're looking for something like that, because I know things can get overwhelming a bit as a student during that time, I definitely understand. This is a good opportunity if you're looking for something that fits kind of more of that gig. You'll be supervised by the institutional advancement staff. Honestly, it's gonna be me. So if you want to work with me, come on. Yeah, so basically we'll like meet in the DMC every day and I'll help everyone get set up, make sure everything's running well. And then of course there will be some other events on the evenings like receptions that we will also be requesting your help for. And when the application does come out, which is going to be in late January, early February, we're going to be hiring 24 students for that position, and we'll kind of base those things on the availability given once we have the more specific dates to provide for you. And I can definitely take down anyone's name if they're interested, or you can also feel free, I put my email here, theauction@massart.edu, to email me any questions in the meantime. But that way, if I have your info, I can definitely make sure when hiring time comes around that we keep you in mind from when we saw you here. But overall, just to close everything, I would say working within the institutional advancement department, can't speak highly of it. It's a great group of people, a great group of creatives. And it's definitely a really, I don't know, it definitely changed my perspective because I ended up working in fundraising after. So I definitely think it's a great idea. And I just want to leave a little bit of room for questions. I know we don't have too much time, kind of went into the last couple of minutes of that, but.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for us about the positions or about institutional advancement overall?
I have a question. So is it only the alumni relations that requires you to bring your own laptop?
So for the artwork attendance, we definitely can provide like little, for example, like little iPads on the check-in tables and things like that. But it's always pretty helpful to have a laptop as well, just in case like we've sent you any important email information that you'd want to have on hand, or sometimes we have someone use their laptop to check people in. And then as well, I know for the ambassador for the annual fund, that's going to require kind of a cell phone laptop type situation because
Okay, okay.
be working high.
Yeah. I do have, I'm in between laptops and mine broke, so that's why I asked. So I use an iPad for most things. I use a computer as at school. So I was asking about the laptop specifically because I haven't purchased one that, I mean, I have one at home that's connected through a screen, but yeah. Okay. I just was wondering how essential that is. Okay.
I think you can also take a loan out of a computer at the Computer Arts Center, the technology office. They can technology, sorry. You can sign one out, like you could sign it out for a couple of days or something like that.
Yeah, I asked about that before. They only do it for like faculty, and I'm assuming maybe for like if it's part of the job, maybe that could be a thing. But yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you.
One of us could go down and take it out if you weren't able to.
Okay. I mean, hopefully I have one by then. That's good to know because yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks for stopping by to learn about it. Hopefully we can see familiar names when we look at some of the applications. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.
Yes.